from the second we have him on. I'll even do it. Watch this. Watch.
YouTube's going.
Okay. There's Dylan. I'm going to let him in. Hey, Dylan. Man, look at that fresh haircut. I would know if it's a fresh haircut or not because I haven't seen your face or your head in so long.
Last time I seen you, and it was probably back in college.
Gosh, that might literally be true.
Yeah, I mean, like Facebook stuff, some, but I was off that. Oh, and I know. And it's my first time meeting John. Howdy.
Yeah, John, Dylan.
Although I do know your
John.
wife.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. From Manchester, that's right.
Mm-hmm. I almost forgot about that. Yeah. You guys, were you the same? No, you're a few years older, John, right? Maybe like a year or two older than Laura?
Yeah, maybe.
Year ahead in school, anyways. Yeah. Yeah, so wild. So wild. Dylan, it might have been, yeah, you're what? You were 3 years behind me in school, 2 or 3. I think we had 1 year of, maybe 2 years of overlap. 2010, so yeah, 3 years. Just because NYC for me is a memory that I have with you when we were both chaperones. That was 2010. Which was your senior year. That might be it. God, that might be the last time we've seen each other in the flesh, if you will.
Yeah.
Wild. Well, glad to have you on here. It's not necessarily hard to hear you, but the volume is a little low. I don't know if you have any control over maybe turning it up a bit.
The difference is maybe moving the mic. I don't know how to settings. How
it might be the movement of the mic actually. If you just have it a little more in front of your mouth.
My nose. Because I use these headphones. It's my hand-free set. And,
yep.
The phone with the state and hear each other on a 3-way call because I'm just breathing too heavy. I'm like,
no. Yeah, because even right now as you laughed, we got just a little bit of that. So if I would say put it where you feel it's comfortable, where you will avoid that, and I can always bump you up in post production.
Okay. A little bit.
Yeah, we can hear that, which is fun. It's fun hearing you deliberately do it. Let's all do it. It's gonna be a hit song right there. Actually, when I do this, you can't tell if I'm sniffing or blowing. No, you could tell because I'm scrunching my nose. That was a sniff, though. It's upset my dog. That was actually probably the most fun we've had on a pre-show just right now. That was probably the most fun moment we've ever had on a pre-show. There it is. Your video cuts in and out, but it won't affect anything for us. But we can see you at this moment, which is nice. Couldn't see you for a moment.
You don't get no.
Gotcha.
I beg to differ. I'm in the country. No.
Close to Marion.
Yeah.
You may not have realized because I always said that he was in Muncie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the information I have about you, John, is through the podcast.
Probably for the first 6 months of the podcast, I always said Muncie, even though in the first episode, I think I learned that he was from Marion or lived in Marion now, but it just didn't stick with me. So I always said Muncie. Yeah. So where in Nebraska are you again?
it's an hour south of Lincoln. It's called Beatrice, pronounced with ah. It's spelled like Beatrice.
But it looks like Beatrice.
yeah,
Cool. That's fun. Beatrice. Beatrice?
that's right.
That is very exciting. I would love to show up there someday and mispronounce it and have everybody stare at me like you're not from around here.
It would make you.
I mean, they could probably tell that pretty easily, anyways.
I see it. I'm looking at a map now. I can see it. Ooh, you have a York to your west, to your northwest.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about York, Pennsylvania. Oh, there's Omaha. Look at me looking at a map. Okay, so that's Eastern. So you are in Central Time.
Yeah.
Cool. You ever get to? Do you ever go to? Do you go to any of these big cities? Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux City, Sioux Falls.
Lincoln, we go to. I've got a group therapy thing up there that. And that's what.
Oh, cool.
It is. Omaha every once in a while. That's where we fly out to. I think there's probably a little bit of a delay.
Gotcha. Yeah, there is. What do you think, John? Do you think Dylan should hop off and hop back on?
I mean, we could give that a try. I'm not sure that'll change much. So.
Dylan, why don't you try leaving? Just hit the leave and then hop back on, and maybe it'll kind of reset things. Yeah, but it'll probably delay again, right?
Yeah.
Oh, look, you can just hop right in. Or you know what? So, this is interesting. So when I did my Rams podcast thing here, we had a guest on, and then when he left, it stayed on this screen forever that you're seeing. You see the three dots with Dylan's name right now, right? Yeah, it stayed on that for I think the rest of the podcast.
Oh.
And then his audio also came in all jumbled. It would like just skip at random places. All right, let's see what happens with this. Ooh, 2 Dylans. Okay. All right. Well, we got one. You look real crisp and clear now. Your video wasn't as great earlier.
Well, it's helped with something, man.
Yeah, there's a. Do you see? There might still be a little bit of a delay.
I think there is.
Yeah.
Based on.
I think it's just the network, internet connections.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Different the house, but yeah, I'm not much different.
Well, it may not be necessarily your house. It's just, the distance of your house from, one of the big internet connections and exchanges and all that.
I didn't know it was possible, but we get our internet through a satellite dish.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not.
Oh my gosh, really?
So when it out.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's probably. So my guess is, at least in the past, I know with satellite, you would get your download from the satellite, but then upload would go through DSL phone lines.
Oh, interesting.
And so that's why. So yeah, that could be why there's a delay. I don't know if that's still true, but
would you say the satellite internet is that's a rural thing, just because there is?
Yeah.
I don't know how the internet works. There's just less.
Yeah.
No, it's very much a rural thing.
Infrastructure.
Yeah. Wow. That's
partially why Starlink is a big thing from Tesla, or not Tesla, but SpaceX, because it could supposedly be pretty fast and high quality and relatively cheap for what it is.
I don't think I even know what Starlink is, to be honest.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing, but
what is it? The internet? Is it a new internet?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, it's not a new internet. It's just they're basically putting up a bunch of small satellites, and then you've got a receiver, and so then you can just get internet that way.
Got it. Interesting.
Like they gave a bunch of receivers to people in Ukraine to help them stay connected to the internet during all that's going on and stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I mean, at least Dylan living in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, means he doesn't have to travel very far for annual conference this year.
Oh, is that right? Where is it?
That's right. It's in Omaha.
There's only one church
It's in Omaha.
in Nebraska, but they're going to have annual conference in Omaha.
Wow.
It's close
wow,
enough to
that's
Iowa.
incredible.
Bunch of churches out, but
It's a good point. But why not just do Iowa then?
yeah.
Right?
They're really accommodating. Where is the one church in Nebraska?
Just a couple miles this way. No, there's not. There are three.
Is that
I'm
what-
sorry.
Okay.
There's one like down the road. The fourth one had a flood in the last few years, and I can't remember where the third one
Oh
is.
no. Is that what first took you to Nebraska for was it a pastor job?
No, this is where I grew up and where her family is.
I remember that now. So you moved there with her and then found a job. You were pastoring somewhere for a little bit, right?
Pika Church of the Brethren, which was
Oh.
and
Yeah.
South of where we are.
Oh,
Okay.
got it. Oh, wow. Yes, I remembered but had forgotten in this moment that Laura's family was in Nebraska. I remember that was one thing when her and I, went to Manchester together and we would talk about that. That was always fun to hear about what Nebraska was like.
yeah, I think the delay. It's something
I experienced
your action. If you, on your side, you're hearing it and reacting in time, so it would just be my reactions then that are delayed, maybe.
unless
You
you
just think it differently or do a lot of editing.
Yeah, actually, we've definitely had this before. In fact, last week with Dale and Nikki, they were on a boat, so not great Wi-Fi there, and so I definitely had to, what you just said is exactly basically what I was just gonna say. Is that let's just all keep in mind that there's a little delay. So really, this is probably gonna be more me telling myself this, but we'll do our best not to jump over each other. I'll make sure I'll wait till the thought is finished if I can. And then don't worry either way, because I can edit it. I can mute one of us out if a response gets lost. Like, well, it'll work.
Cool.
We should have a signal like I'm done talking now. Fist in the air means I'm done talking. But I never officially. I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep
Over.
going. Over. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it'll work out. It'll work out fine.
Mhm. And,
We're professional
and
broadcasters.
Yeah, I mean, and like Kevin said in the email, Dylan, the audio on your side is going to be perfectly fine. So it's not going to be jumbled or anything, and so yeah, it just gives Kevin more work. That's all.
Yeah.
But in the words of my uncle, he did a great job last week with it. So
Yeah,
Very
I
kind
think
of
so.
him.
I didn't notice anything.
Hooray.
Yeah.
well, I
Well-
mean, then you weren't listening very carefully because everything is odd about us. but-
Other than the normal odd.
right.
Right.
This does feel like a good opportunity to say thank you for being such a great supporter of ours.
Yes.
And as far as I know, you say you listen every Thursday. I mean, you're all up to date. Have you heard everything? It's okay if the answer is no, but have you listened to everything?
For sure. Yeah. I think there's only been
You-
one time that I have like missed a week and I just doubled up the next week.
Uh-huh. Oh man, I can't tell you how good that feels, because I think about the podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis, and I look forward to, okay, well, I got this one coming out on Monday, and to know that we're in your rotation. I seriously think it's you and my sister. Those are the two that I can think of who I know
Yeah.
listen every week. There might be more, but Yeah, that means a lot. That's very cool.
So
Oh, it is.
a #1 logger, like beyond Nebraska, maybe just like it, east of California.
Yeah, I was gonna say anywhere outside of Southern California,
U.S.
you're
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I think my sister and her husband are pretty.
That's what I wondered, yeah.
Yeah.
And me, I listen
I
to
mean-
every episode. I listen every
Yeah, I mean-
Thursday when it comes out. I really do.
I listen to every pre-show.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's right. You do. Yeah.
I don't necessarily always listen to the final product, but I listen to the raw version.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a decent number of listens every Thursday.
Yeah.
I mean, without pulling down the data and analyzing it more, there's at least people that listen every Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're all listening to the newest episode every Thursday, but
But odds are they are. Like, why would there be?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was thinking
I mean, we had
the
51 people
it's
listen
like
to last
automatic
week's.
downloads. That's a lot. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Were you saying something about your aunt, Dylan, or?
No.
Oh.
I lost my train of thought.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't.
Automatic.
Yeah, I don't know if
downloads.
automatic downloads count for that.
Do they,
they
do they
might.
actually have to listen, or that's a good question. If
Well,
a download gets us.
I think it depends on where we're looking at the data from. If we're looking at it from Castos, then automatic downloads would probably count.
Okay. I see.
If we're looking at like the analytics from Apple Podcast, then it breaks it down by if they've listened and how long they've listened, and so.
Well, but to your original point, John, it's this is with humility. Like, it's not a ton of listens, but yeah, there's a consistent amount that listen every Thursday, and it's cool because, like I just said right now, I know Dylan, I know my sister, I know me for sure, and maybe John's sister, but that's that's only 4. So where are the rest of these coming from? And it's just a reminder that
Right.
there's active listeners who tell us, and there's non-active, and each are just as important, right? It's just we don't know they're there.
Well, I mean, and since last Thursday, we've had that episode with my aunt and uncle. There's been 51 listens.
Oh, did they share it on their sailboat Facebook?
I think so.
I hope so.
I know.
If it
I know
was-
that they shared links on their profile, like on their socials. So
if they're listening to this,
yeah.
and then this is our chance to guilt them into putting it on their sailboat community Facebook walls.
Yeah, I don't know if they did that or not because I'm not in those groups. So
Kevin, I'm thinking
we could get
probably
really.
Oh, we probably had
Go ahead,
some
Dylan.
face-to-face time at Camp Laverne a little bit after.
And
You've been doing that for a long time, and I think
Yeah,
the winter camps
or something with you.
we directed at least one together. In fact, I'm pretty sure. I was co-director one year with Jeff Bremeyer, but literally all I did was he did all the work. I just showed up and sat there. And now that I am a director, I totally get that. Like, I'm trying to get people to do that with me now. Like, I'll do everything. Just come be here so I can say you were a director and then you can take over for me. But yeah, I think the year after that, I think it was 2009 maybe. But yeah, you and I directed together, and that was the first time that I ever directed, and so it was great to do it with you.
one of my reads
Yeah.
of Camp Laverne.
Really? That's cool.
I've got a lot of different reoccurring.
Are you a lot of reoccurring dreams, and one of them is Camp Laverne? What? I'm so curious. Is it a specific place in Camp Laverne? Is it more of a feeling that you're there? Is it specific people from camp, or what? Or is it all the above?
Yeah, sometimes it's campers.
that's where I
born, and so
Yeah,
that
that's
the
right.
camp was on that same like another reason for
I forgot that's your birthplace. Yeah, that would make sense because the smells and the feel and the the air. It's all Big Bear and Camp Laverne. They're the same, and so I can understand that. Yeah, I have a ton of dreams about Camp Laverne, but I'm also still very active with camp, so I guess that makes sense. To be honest, sometimes they're stressful dreams.
I was gonna say
It's,
some of them are
it-
stress dreams.
Yeah, it can definitely be a source of stress for me. But I grow older and wiser and remind myself that my attitude and my sort of, how I choose to approach things makes all the difference. So, try to live in gratitude for getting to spend time up there rather than stressing about, I got to plan all this stuff and do all, so I'm trying.
Can you hear my fan at all, Kevin?
I don't think so.
Okay, I turned it to a lower speed,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn mine off once we're going. But if I can hear it when I'm editing, I can put a little thing on it to silence it.
Yeah, just let me know for next week then.
Okay. All right. So Dylan, you know the drill. I mean, you know the drill as far as how our episodes go. It'll be a little different in the recording because we can obviously kind of stop and start, and I can edit stuff out. I'll play each of the songs, but I'll fade them out pretty quick, so don't be caught off guard when they just sort of disappear. I'll throw them in and make them sound better in post. But I don't think this should make too big a difference, but we're actually gonna re-air an episode this Thursday. It's the first time we're doing it. It's funny because we actually should have done it last week, but we're gonna re-air our 4th of July episode, and John and I are gonna record a little intro for it. So the episode that you and I we're doing right now is gonna be the following Thursday.
So it
So
works out perfectly because that's
Yes.
actually Woody Guthrie's 110th.
before
I hope that's a question on the quiz. Is it really? The June 14th is?
Yeah.
Is that the day the episode will drop? That's literally the day it'll drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, there we go. Because I was gonna say we'll just avoid making timely references, but that is the one we can make. That this episode is going live on Woody Guthrie's 114th.
Is his birth?
Okay, 110th.
It's 1912.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, I can't wait till we get to that question.
So, Kevin, real quick here.
Yeah.
Are we then moving the Camp Laverne and Camp Mac to the 17th?
Yeah, so that was that
Okay.
was I guess the downside which is
No, that's
funny
fine.
because that's going to be right in between when you take Jacob to camp and when I go to camp, so it'll work out. I think it'll be fine.
No, actually, that day is the day I take Jacob to camp.
Oh, the day that it
we
airs.
record it.
Oh, that you
No, the
record.
day
Okay.
that we record. So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, that'll be great. Yeah, that's what I was going to say to you earlier, Dylan, when we brought up Camp Laverne. Is we're doing an episode on Camp Mac and Camp Laverne, and yeah, maybe I'll put a question about my Camp Laverne dreams in there.
I don't think I'm not sure if I've been to Camp Mac. Camp. She grew up going to Camp Mac. Just
He's
to
too.
do.
Wait, who did?
One of my moms.
Oh, your mom did. Oh, did your mom go to Manchester or anything like that?
She went to Manchester.
Okay. So I don't know if I realized that. She's deeply connected.
Just shows Manchester's better than Laverne.
I
She
guess
and
of
my
the
dad
well,
doing I think it was like a Jan term or like some kind of
the opposite of
what you did, Kevin, where she came out to
yeah.
LA, and
Yeah.
I think that's how she met my dad at a bar.
Oh no, wait. Did she come out to Laverne for a Jan term?
Yeah.
That is wild. Oh my gosh. And then they met at a bar. I love it. Wow. Yeah, we're just we're inverts of each other. Yeah, that's wild. Oh my gosh, it's good to relive memories. I was thinking too about that I think it was a Jan term that I had a little party at my house. I mean, party is loosely used. It was when actually what's funny, John, is you'll kind of Greg Nicewander, who did our Frisbee episode, was there. Do you remember meeting him, Dylan, by chance? Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I could be mixing up parties, quote unquote. But like, I think that I had friends in town I had Greg Nicewander in town with his friend Chuck. And, but again, I might be mixing up little house parties that I wasn't supposed to throw. So I just remember you trying to ride my unicycle in my backyard. That's what I remember.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
There's a photo of that somewhere. Yeah. So it might have been different times, but I do remember that. Yeah. And Wade was there. Wade came, and then the regulars of like Irene and Emily and Danny and my sister probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Danny was credited on me at that party. But he had,
Oh,
he
really?
had been drinking a lot.
That does not surprise me at all, to be honest. Oh my gosh, he wasn't making it very subtle, was he?
No, it was.
Yeah. You know, Danny, we may edit this out of the pre-show, but Danny likes the intellectuals. He's very drawn to intelligence, and I'm complimenting you, Dylan. You have an intriguing intelligence to you. You always have, and I could totally see that. Yeah, and you're a good-looking guy. Don't get me wrong. Your physical appearance is very wonderful as well.
Well, people often confused us for being brothers or twins or something. So you're actually complimenting yourself.
Yes, and I knew that, and I was expecting you to say that.
Yeah, which is why he said it.
Yeah. I was just waiting for it to come back to Kevin. Bring it on back to Kevin. No, obviously I wasn't, but I did. That's right. We would get mistook for that all the time, and that was always quite a compliment. I always took that as a compliment. That was cool.
We like each other.
Well, if we knew more of the same people still in our kind of day-to-day life, we could start telling that lie and seeing if it could catch on again. Maybe we'll do it anyways. Okay, well, to be respectful of everyone's time, you guys feeling ready to get going?
Yeah.
I think the only
Okay.
thing I would say is the thing with I don't have a whole lot in terms of introduction. The more about Woody
Yes, we
to go and yeah.
Okay, so we'll do I'll ask you a couple questions then, just to say hi, who you are, and maybe like, maybe something like, when did you start liking Woody Guthrie? So just very, very simple stuff, but I'll even allude to what you just said, probably that the quiz will tell the story.
Sure.
All right. Cool. Just making sure. Let's do it then. I'm gonna hit the intro, and then I'll bring us in, and we'll make magic happen.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm gonna hit it in 3, 2, 1. Almost. Go. Play. It's not playing. Oh man, we've been doing pretty good with the theme actually playing when I hit it, and
There's only a couple times.
a couple times what that it worked.
Yeah.
Let me try it. Let's try it again. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
John
Theme
likes
song.
tech and lives in Indiana, Kevin likes the Dodgers and talks on the radio. John plays games on Xbox and on his Nintendo, while Kevin runs around LA with his mustachio. It's the Lack of Genius podcast in your ear holes at last. They don't know they're Mars from Venus, that's why it's the Lack of Genius podcast.
I don't know, John. There may be people fighting for this title, but I'm gonna introduce this week's guest as what we talked about on the pre-show as our our number one logger outside of the Southern California region, and maybe even tied with that person. I'm thinking of my sister.
Well, I mean, we may need our log historian to corroborate this, but
Who is our log historian again? Do we have that assigned? I can't remember.
Grayson.
Oh yes, Grayson. Yeah. Oh, Grayson might be giving us a run for our money here too. I'm gonna start talking to my guest Dylan, before I introduce him. But yeah, Grayson might give Dylan a run for his money. Let's not delay it any longer. Dylan is a good friend of mine, and he's coming to us from Beatrice, Nebraska. Did I get that right, Dylan?
Yes, that's how the
Local Beatrice.
Spelled Beatrice, but yeah, I just learned he's in Beatrice, Nebraska, and I said I want to go there and call it Beatrice and have people look at me weirdly, just so that I can say that's why they're looking at me weirdly, not because of everything else going on with me. But
Well, I mean, you could do the same thing in Chili, Indiana.
Chili, Indiana. Have you heard this one, Dylan?
No.
Chili. Can you picture how that might be spelled?
Like chai tea.
You would think.
Nope. Think Southern. Central America. Chile.
Chili, and it's called Chili, Indiana, which is just one of the. In fact, I just. Oh, the soundboard's not working. That's right.
Oh, it's not a knowledge bomb.
No, it wasn't gonna be a knowledge bomb. It was gonna be a cheering sound. So Dylan Del Haro is here. Thanks for coming on, man. And I was alluding to the fact that you listen to every episode every Thursday, right?
Yes, week. It's one of my
Uh-huh.
Thursday morning routines. Usually when taking the shower. So
We're the dishwashing, showering podcast. That's what we've always been known as, and that was my way of, and so that's why I introduced Dylan as maybe our number one logging fan. This is not to discredit any other of our loggers. We love you all, but just in terms of listening with frequency, and we so appreciate that. And if there are other people who do it, let us know. We'll shout you out and we'll say, "Never mind, Dylan, you've lost the title, and now it's this person who said hi to us."
I mean, and the easiest way to tell us that you're the number one listener is going to patreon.com/lackofgenius and putting in the highest amount of money there, and that'll tell us that you're the number one fan.
You'll get all the shout outs in the world. Dylan, we are so honored to have you. Tell us what you're quizzing us on.
today the quiz is on Woody Guthrie, musician.
Yes.
mostly known
Known for his music though.
And not to put words in your mouth, but you don't necessarily consider yourself an expert on Woody Guthrie. You have just recently become a fan of his. Is that accurate, or what would you describe your Woody Guthrie journey as?
Just
Say that one more time.
not an expert, but just you're right. Recent, not an expert. Recent interest though.
Yeah, Dylan, when we first launched this podcast was maybe Dylan the first person to reach out to me about it and say you were excited, and so we've from day one been texting about or emailing about the idea of having Dylan on and brainstorm some ideas, and then I kind of lost track of things, and then he presented this idea of Woody Guthrie, and I was like, I know nothing about Woody Guthrie, very little. I don't even want to try to guess what I know about Woody Guthrie because I'm worried that I'm wrong. So I was like, yes, let's learn about this person that I think is I have a feeling I'm going to be an admirer of by the end of this quiz. So yeah, I'm excited to have you on sharing this with us.
Yes,
and without spoiling the quiz, go ahead, Dylan.
You were counting on what?
Oh, that you didn't know a whole lot, but that you would.
Yes.
some of the things that Woody has in common, or
Oh.
that yeah, figure for sure.
Wow. Well, yeah, you should always count on me not knowing a lot, first of all. That's rule number one. And now I'm excited because you brought it back to Kevin. You brought it back to me, and now my ego is like, oh, okay, there's something good here going on.
My question for you, Dylan, is without spoiling the quiz, what drew you, like what caused you to, all of a sudden gain this interest in Woody Guthrie?
I'm trying to think of whether it spoils anything or not. I think I'll save that though.
Oh.
I can share that with you then.
A little teaser there.
That's what we call a teaser in the business, Dylan. Well done. Something to look forward to. Well, how about this? How about we do our tidy up and then we'll get into quiz and find out what this is all about, all right? Here we go. There it is.
Tidy up before we go any further with the show. Tidy up before we go fix our mistakes tonight. I wanna get it right. Tidy up.
Dylan, if I'm not mistaken, you asked me a question about that tidy up jingle via email. Do you remember? Do you remember what it was?
I was curious if someone else was singing along with you.
Yes, and I think you asked if it might be my sister, perhaps.
Yes.
Which the answer is no. The answer is that's all me, baby. I you know what would be really embarrassing, but maybe I should do is isolate each of my vocals on that and just play them raw. And I don't know why I just suggested that because now I feel like I'm gonna have to do it. But I sang in this terrible falsetto, and when you put it all together, yeah, it sounds a little wacky, but it works. Oh man, but on its own, it's gonna be nasty. So. Yeah, you may have sparked that, Dylan. So thank you.
Post-show sound.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh my gosh, Dylan. That's if you stay till the end, you just might hear it this episode. Dylan with 2 for 2 on the teases. This is you know the tidy up, Dylan. The one thing I wanted to promote on this tidy up section is one of my favorite guests that we've had on this show was Alyssa Rocca, our opera singer. I thought she was just a wonderful guest, great personality, very full of life and very knowledgeable on all things opera. And if you listen to that episode, you remember she was talking about a few things, including her opera company called Paradox Opera and an opera that she was performing that I feel bad because I can't remember if she wrote it or if I think it's just the first show that her opera company is putting on. And it's happening now. Her website is up, paradoxopera.org, paradoxopera.org, and she is performing COVID Chronicles along with, I believe the cast is 4 people. I don't know if there's more than that. I think that might be it. And what's great is she's in North Carolina, so there are dates coming up on July 16th and July 19th. And you can actually watch a live stream. In fact, oh my goodness, as of the airing of this episode, that live stream is tomorrow. It's July 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is, you do the math, 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Central. Did I do that right? Let's assume I did. 7 p.m. COVID Chronicles live stream. It'll be on her Twitch channel, but instead of, you can look that up. I believe it's Divatron 9000, but just go to paradoxopera.org. You can see that. You can get all the info there. There's a little clip for it. I'm rambling on about it because I have a lot of enthusiasm for seeing somebody create a project like this and launch it and follow through with it. It's very inspiring. So I would love for our loggers to go out and support Alyssa and show up to her live stream. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Will you be there, John?
Possibly.
Yeah, maybe we should get seats together. Meaning the seats we're in right now, just on our computers.
I was going to sit in front of my TV, but
Oh, okay, even better. Yeah, good call. Anything else that I've missed in terms of tidy up from either of you? Just in case, Dylan, you have something in your life you want to tidy up?
not that I know of.
Got nothing.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get into this quiz then. Let's do it.
It's time to take a quiz or two. Like a genius podcast doing this for you. You may fail, but it ain't no lie, baby. It's quiz time. Don't really want this quiz to be tough. I just want to pass one cause I failed enough. It might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby. It's quiz time.
Kevin,
Yeah?
have you ever been so tired where you thought that your drink was empty when in reality it wasn't?
Oh no. Is this what I saw you pick up a Mountain Dew can because it looked so little in your giant man hands? What happened?
I was like, I need to get some water. And then I just happened to pick up the Mountain Dew thinking that it was empty, to check that it was empty. But no, it was like half full.
Did all the Mountain Dew end up in your mouth, or was it like an overwhelming amount so it's in your beard and
Oh no, I just picked it up to see how it felt and have a drink.
So this was a good experience. You're like, "Oh my gosh, I still
Yes.
have more."
Yes.
Oh, there's
But
nothing like
it just goes to show how tired I am.
That means your brain power is lower, and now I am the favorite to win this episode. So I
It's
now
possible since I do know a little bit about Woody Guthrie
have. Oh, interesting.
and
Yeah,
his
so-
son.
And his son. Oh my gosh, Dylan, what's going through your mind right now as he says that? Are you like, oh, he knows too much?
No, I anticipated that John would probably be more familiar, and so I was trying to make this quiz in mind that Kevin, this would be maybe new to you, and John would be able to probably even say some
Go
things
searching the
that
archives.
I don't know.
John's pretty good at that. John's pretty good at coming up with things that nobody else seems to know about something. It's a skill. Well, man, Dylan, so we appreciate you not just being here and making the quiz, but putting such thought into it and thinking about our personalities and what we may or may not know. I love hearing the depth of thought that goes in. So you know me, I could ramble on. I'm going to shut up now and hand it off to you. It sounds like the quiz is going to tell the story of what we have going on here with Woody Guthrie. So Dylan, take it away, my friend.
That's right, and it's an honor to be on. I've been for a long time. I wondered if I'd have to be a patron before you. I'm glad. Gracious enough that. Thank you.
We're not going to make you pay money just to be on our show, is what you're saying.
No, we will gladly let people be on our show.
Yeah. No,
So if
you
you
definitely
have
don't
an
have to be
idea-
a patron.
If you want to be on, just email us.
Yeah, there it is. Well, Dylan, yeah, man, again, thanks for saying that, and so excited that you're here.
Okay.
Alright.
First question: true or false? Woody Guthrie was named after 28th U.S. President Woodrow Wilson.
Great question. Great question.
I'm gonna say false because knowing when Woody Guthrie was alive, like when he was really big, I feel like he would have already been born before Woodrow Wilson was president.
Well, we know from the pre-show when Woody Guthrie was born, don't we? Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was today.
I-
Sort of. the day that this episode drops,
Right.
July 14th, is his 110th birthday.
Right. So he's born in 1912, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to remember when Woodrow Wilson was.
That's something I would not know because I am terrible at things. But here's why I'm so conflicted is because, and maybe this is the one advantage I might have on this quiz, is that I know Dylan, and Dylan is a very clever, witty, intelligent person. And so I could see him being very clever with coming up with things like this, like, oh, you know, it would be fun is just to randomly throw in that that Woody comes from Woodrow Wilson. But it could also just be 1,000% true. You know, this is why I love these quizzes.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that Woodrow Wilson wasn't exactly the greatest person,
Oh,
which
is
is somewhat antithetical to Woody Guthrie.
yes, but Woody wouldn't have had a choice in what his
Right.
parents named him, right? So that's interesting. Could be ironic. Could be all the more reason why it being true would be interesting. All right, what do you think, John? Do you want to? What are you going to choose, or do you want me to choose first?
I'm still gonna go with false.
I really want to choose opposite of you, but I'm going to choose false, just going off the logic of, okay, maybe Dylan made this up, and it'll set the tone for the rest of the quiz. So we're both choosing false, Dylan.
The answer is false. And John, you got
Oh, got it.
You got the logic.
but not for the
John did.
yeah. He was named after Woodrow Wilson, but he was only a presidential candidate at the time.
Wow.
Didn't
November that year, and then so he wasn't president. He wasn't inaugurated until the next year.
Wow.
Okay. So we're going with semantics there as to the correctness of the answer.
Yeah, I wanted to
Uh,
set the precedent that there might be some twists in these questions.
That is, yeah, and this is 1,000% welcome. That is probably what's the word I want to use here? That is probably the trickiest twist that we've had on a quiz, I think, and I love it. Like, it's not that. Yes, Woody Guthrie was named after Woodrow Wilson. That is true, but not after the 28th U.S. president, Woodrow Wilson, right? That's what we're dealing with. That is amazing, Dylan. That is amazing. I'm going to name my child after you, Dylan.
next up.
All right. Yeah, maybe it's a safer bet to name my dog Dylan. I will name him or her. I'll name him it'll be Dylan Del Haro. It'll be the whole thing, and I'll say it every time.
All right. All right. Question. Truth or
Bring it on.
lies? Woody Guthrie became friends with famous author George Orwell.
Okay, well now I'm afraid of every question officially because the wording of this, like, it feels very deliberate. Woody Guthrie became friends with famous author George Orwell. What if he became friends with George Orwell before he was a famous author? And so that's what makes it false. Now we just don't know, John. We're playing with fire now. Wow.
I'm gonna go with true.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Why?
Well, I mean, I know.
No.
I think in the 50s, maybe late 40s, with his sci-fi and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote 1984, which is a very anti-fascist literature. Woody Guthrie was also very anti-fascist. In fact, he had written on his guitar that this machine kills fascists. Wow. Which is where Tom Morello gets that from. has that on his
Wow.
guitar.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
John, knowledge, bomb.
Let's just get that out of the way
Unless
now.
I'm completely wrong, I think that's the case. So there's a lot of overlap in their ideologies, I think.
Okay.
to where they would become friends.
Yeah.
They just
So
use different mediums.
so assuming there's nothing tricky here, you're saying that this makes sense logically. Now,
It
see,
does.
now I'm like, okay, what if he wasn't famous? What if Woody Guthrie became friends with a different famous author? What if somebody else other than Woody Guthrie became friends with George Orwell? There are many, but John, as much as I again want to choose opposite of you, I think I'm going to choose true on this one as well. I think we're both going to choose true.
Well, John, you thought, did you think,
Oh man.
similar politics, but they did not know each other as far as I know.
It's a lot, and by the way, can you imagine if one of us had chosen false and if we chose false, but the answer was really lies, then we wouldn't have gotten points for that, would we?
No, that I won't be that pedantic.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay, so you just
Jeopardy.
We're also
Right,
yes.
friends
with a different
Uh-huh.
famous Steinbeck,
Woo.
who wrote Grapes
Okay.
of Wrath. Woody grew
Yes.
up in
No.
Oklahoma
That's what I was thinking.
during the Great Depression, and John, you know about one of his sons, but
Mm-hmm.
Joe, after the main characters from the
Tom-
book,
Tom
Grapes of
Joad.
Wrath, called Jones. Sorry, Tom Joad.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin, he didn't read the
The
book.
book,
He only watched the movie 3 times.
You know me too well. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Oh, that's
Well,
incredible.
and Kevin, you being a Rage fan, should know the
Yeah.
song "The Ballad of Tom Joad."
In fact,
Yeah.
well, it's the ghost of Tom Joad. I was like, I'm pretty sure
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the ghost, but that's a
Yeah.
different song than Woody Guthrie is the Ballad of
Right.
Tom Joad, and then and that's that full circle moment to your Tom Morello mention. That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they also covered Maggie's Farm, which is another. It's not a Woody Guthrie song, but it's another song from like the '60s and stuff. Like that.
Uh-huh.
That's a cover as well.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
Um.
I think his other
His
famous
friends was Pete. He was in a musical group with him called the Almanacs, and other musicians.
Cool. Very cool. We're two questions in, and I'm already like, oh my gosh, I need to do a deep dive into Woody Guthrie. Like this 5 questions is not enough to do a deep dive. It's enough to make me to percolate the interest. And all it took was 2 questions, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm already a fan of this guy.
And you probably know a lot of his music already.
I probably do. I probably do, and I'll be pleasantly surprised. Be like, oh my gosh, I was Woody Guthrie the-
After all, this land is your land.
Yeah,
this
that's-
is my land.
So that's the one that I'm pretty sure I could attribute to Woody Guthrie. But outside of that, I don't think I could name a single song, at least like for a fact, All right, Dylan. So we are since we're 1 for 2, right? We're tied because
Yep.
we've given the same answers, and we're 1 for 2 to start.
Yeah.
Cool. Where are we going next, Dylan?
Correct or incorrect?
had jobs singing
Singing and giving edgy commentary on Los Angeles radio.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, so correct or incorrect are the choices here, John. Don't you forget it. Here's what I'm wondering is you at the beginning of this show mentioned that I may find something similar with Woody Guthrie and myself. And I work in radio, and you know that about me, Dylan. And so
But he also knows your music too.
Yes, exactly. Now I have never. This is a fun opportunity to talk about myself more. I've never sang on the radio, but I don't think I've shared this on here. I have actually had one of my songs played on Los Angeles radio when I was the board op for Rodney on the Rock, Rodney Bingenheimer, who's kind of an LA legend and broke a lot of bands in LA on K-Rock. And near the end of his run on K-Rock, this is several years now. I was his board op, and it was a job unlike any other radio job because he still played off of CDs at this time in like whatever that was 2000 maybe 14 or so. Playing off of CDs was like ancient. Nobody did that, but he'd hand me a CD and he'd say cut 4. And that was not a good Rodney impression, but he has a high pitched voice like that. And I'd put it in and I have to load it up. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that I released some Halloween songs, and his assistant followed me on Facebook and heard one of them and said, "Oh my God, you got to get Rodney to play it." Rodney Bingenheimer played my song, one of my Halloween songs on the radio one year. Is the long way that I'm telling that story. So I've never sang on the radio, but my not live, but my voice has been on there. So anyways, now that I've taken up all this time, what are you thinking, John?
I'm thinking Dylan may have gone with the true false method and
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were just referring to like every question. So far, we've had 50-50 every chance. But you're
Right.
thinking, okay, the first one was...
true.
The first one was... Wait, No, the first one was false. Yeah.
Oh yeah, false.
First one was false. Second one was also lies. Second one was lies. Yeah. Yeah, Woody Guthrie was not friends with George Orwell.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So they've
maybe
both
they're
been
all-
they've been false and lies so far. So maybe they're all incorrect, and maybe they all have a twist to them. I'm
Or maybe
I'm
this
gonna
one
choose.
is correct.
I'm choosing true because I want it to be true, and I love the radio connection. And you know it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm choosing correct as opposed to incorrect. Maybe you know what is interesting, and now I'm afraid to change my choice, but. Los Angeles seems like a weird market for Woody Guthrie to be in for some reason. And so now I'm wondering if this is incorrect because it's all of it's true except for the fact that it's not a Los Angeles radio station. I'm changing to incorrect. I'm doing
I'm
it.
still going with correct.
Okay, we're going opposite. How do we do,
Because
Dylan?
I mean, you got to think about when it was probably happening.
Yeah,
L.A. back in the 40s and 50s is different than L.A. now.
I know. But it was still very Hollywoody. But yeah, you're right. It could be, but I did it.
I mean, and what was considered edgy then is like far from edgy now.
Yeah. It's showing shoulder. Right now, Dylan wearing a tank top is extraordinarily edgy for 1940s and 50s. All right, well, I'm sticking with it because I can't change now. I mean, I can, but I'm not going to.
The
What do
answer
we got,
is
Dylan?
correct.
Haha.
That's for me. That's for Dylan. That's for John. I overthought it. You're playing mind games on me, Dylan.
know
That's
that
great.
you-
Tell us more.
Yes, I was hoping to just ask the question and then sit back and
It's happening exactly as you envisioned it.
so from Oklahoma to Texas briefly. He did take the but after the Dust Bowl, Woody hitchhiked, hopped trains, and walked to Los Angeles. Travels, and when he got to
Wow.
and played music and painted signs, and did a little bit of bootlegging on the side to make money.
Wow.
And so his-
Bootlegging. Wait, What is bootlegging defined at? Like, because when I hear bootlegging, I think of bootleg CDs and bootleg DVDs. What does that look like in the 40s and 50s?
Think
John,
prohibition.
tell him.
Is it? Oh, this was in the 20s.
Well, not quite the
Um,
20s.
I think. I'm
Or,
trying to think of
no,
when-
this would have been
when was
after
it he got to-
prohibition.
Well, whether it was legal or not, he was making some that wasn't.
Gotcha.
Moonshining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
his
That
musical
okay. So
talent-
that makes sense.
Hmm.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So his musical
Musical
talent landed him. He is eventually let go because giving edgy commentary wasn't a part of his position description.
What do you know if it? I should know this as the radio person, but at that time was edgy commentary a popular thing? I mean, now all all media is edgy. Well, I mean, you know, like all news media is edgy commentary, edgy commentary. But then was it? I wonder if it was even a welcome thing.
I think what made it unwelcome was his affinity for communism.
Gotcha. It wasn't the popular patriotic belief of the time.
Still not if you talk to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. But it was probably much more overwhelmingly popular than it wasn't so much like a, I mean, I don't know if it's a 50-50 split today, but it wasn't as split as maybe it is today.
Well, I mean, during that time, if like you've got McCarthyism and stuff going on. I mean, there was, you know, entire Senate panels calling in Hollywood actors and actresses because they might be communists and getting blacklisted from working, and so
Bet Woody was on that list.
probably.
Next question, true or false? Was Woody on the
Was he a part of the Red Scare?
But yeah, John, you do.
It's not the next question, but
It
might
come
come-
up again. But true or false? All of the following. So there's some lot in this one.
Okay.
A. His sister died.
as a kid.
B.
Mm.
His mother threw a kerosene lamp on his father when he was sleeping. C. His daughter died of a fire when she was 4 years old. And
Oh my gosh.
he burned his right arm while living in Florida,
Rendering
making him unable to play guitar after that.
What?
I mean, if this is all true, if I was a part of the Guthrie family, I would stay absolutely clear of anything flammable.
No matches in the house. You know, just don't cook food. Nothing hot. That's essentially, if the question being true or false, are all of the following statements are true? Is that true or false? And all of them are pretty tragic fire things. Sister died in a fire when he was a kid. Mother threw a kerosene lamp on his father when he was sleeping. See, his daughter died in a fire. His daughter died in a fire when she was 4. And then he burned his right arm while living in Florida, splashing gasoline on a campfire, rendering him unable to play guitar again. Wow.
I could see a few of those happening.
Yeah.
Like, you know, B could have caused A.
Yeah, the mother throwing kerosene on the father could have caused the fire that tragically led to his sister dying as a kid.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and if this was in Oklahoma during the Dust Bowl and everything, I mean, that was a massive drought, so everything would have been dry.
Yeah.
So that would have gone quick.
Yeah. His daughter died in a fire when she was 4. What if he doesn't even have a daughter?
Well,
Now
he
we're getting-
doesn't
now-
now.
Oh yeah, you're right. If he did, well, he had multiple daughters, but and then the thing that's hard for me to believe is the end of D, where he burned his own arm splashing gasoline on a campfire, rendering him unable to play guitar again. Did Woody Guthrie at the last however long after this of his life, was he not able to play guitar? That feels like the kind of thing that we as a culture should know. I would guess most people don't
Right.
know. If that's true, I would guess most people don't know that fact, but maybe it's not true.
I'm going with false just because I can't. I mean, it's entirely possible that they're all true, but
Yeah. It feels like the odds are in your favor to choose false, right?
right.
Because there could just be, like, for example, maybe he wasn't living in Florida when he splashed the gasoline fire.
Exactly.
And what was he doing with gasoline near a campfire? Did he? Maybe he thought it was water. Maybe it was. Well, I was going to confuse it with your Mountain Dew thing, but maybe he thought he was splashing the fire with Mountain Dew, and it turned out it was gasoline, which is actually probably better that he did that instead of drinking the gasoline Mountain Dew. You know?
Well, you may not know this, Kevin, but Mountain Dew is another name for moonshine.
That's right, and that's why the old school logo has that guy making the moonshine on it. I love that old school logo. Wow. Okay. So the answer is yes, Mountain Dew is moonshine. What are we talking about again? All right. So you're choosing false, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a lead on me right now? You do. Oh gosh.
Yeah,
See,
just
now
one.
we're now. Yeah. So I
do you
could
want to
choose
tie
this-
it, or possibly I go up by 2?
Oh gosh. I think I got to go big here. I think I got to choose true, and I kind of want to because it's just so like. I'm gonna
Out
choose
there?
true. Let's. It's just so out there, and it would be so tragic, and it's probably gonna be tragic either way. But I'm choosing true. You're choosing false, John.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan. The madness is over. What do we got?
It's true.
Yes. The end was for you, John.
I figured.
But
What? All of
A
these are
and
true,
B-
Dylan?
That's right. But A and B were not connected. Separate fires.
No. So these are 4 totally separate tragic fire incidences that happened in Woody Guthrie's life, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think A, the sister was having a fight with the mom. Was so upset that she like set some clothes on fire and it lit up stuff.
Wow. Wow. Do you know the story of why the mother threw a kerosene lamp on his father?
Um, yeah, that become evident later.
Okay. And part of why I ask that is, I mean, we're learning, it's a good thing. Mental health is such a prevalent thing these days, but we're learning so much about how damaging seeing such violence like that can be. And regardless of what the situation is, whether it was that, I'm just speculating here, but like the father was abusive and the mother was doing it self-defense, or the mother was crazy and wanted to burn him for no reason. Either way, it's just like, oh, that's got to be hard for a young Woody Guthrie to have witnessed.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd also like to take this. You mentioned I'm currently reading this book. It's called Little Fires Everywhere. I don't know if this book is so good. Do you guys know this book? I learned how to read just the other day, and this is what I'm reading currently.
You've been saying that for a few weeks.
Well, I can make out like 70% of the words in this.
I don't think you know what the other day, like that's a few days ago, not a month ago.
No, I just the other day I learned to read. I stand by it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also a great television show on Hulu that I watched first. I'm gonna be honest, but the book, I'm becoming one of those people now who can say like, oh, the book is so much better than the movie. I can say that factually about a few things now, and I'm very proud of myself.
That's good.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, enough about that. So do you have any more on the fire stuff, or is that gonna come up later?
No, nothing else on it.
Okay.
We're ready to go
Okay.
to the next question.
Okay.
True or false? Both. Or
False.
so both of these following statements are true or false. Woody often that had the following words on it. This machine kills fascists. B.
Wow.
Woody's father was a member
Of the
KKK.
Okay, so we have 2 statements here, and just to be clear, we're choosing whether either both of them are true or both of them are false.
Right. I know A is true.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do too because of you. So the question really is
B true?
Is B true? If it is true, then the answer to the question is true. Both are true. But if it's false, then the answer is false because one is true and one is false.
Right.
Yep.
Pretty sure I said that exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm choosing true. I think that's, in fact, maybe this is the reason why he got burned at the stake on his bed with the kerosene lamp, because he was a terrible racist KKK member.
I mean, he did live in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
so it's possible. Yeah, I think I'm going to go true as well.
I don't know, or it's what Dylan wants us to think. But if it is, he got us. Yeah. Okay, so we're both choosing true.
Yep.
Yes, you had knowledge on that one. It is true.
Yeah, go knowledge. Now I know what it's like to have a John knowledge. John not only dropped that knowledge bomb for me, but then also, yeah, you guys both helped me with that one. You guys both gave me the assist.
Yeah.
Yeah, he borrowed that phrase from industrial workers who were putting those words on their manufacturing machines, like lathes that were making supply. And his dad was a member of the local. He attended a lynching
Wow.
a year before Woody was born.
Wow, he was in it. Oh my gosh. What a crazy fact, knowing who Woody Guthrie is, and then to be able to say, yeah, his father was a KKK member. So bizarre. So bizarre. Yeah. You have something,
Yeah,
John?
I mean, no, I was just gonna say, no, go ahead, Dylan.
Oh, the tree. Go ahead.
Yeah, the apple did fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, I've got knowledge on Woody Guthrie because of Arlo Guthrie, his son.
Yes.
And I grew up listening to his stuff because of my parents, and in fact, before I was born, I was still in utero. I was referred to as Arlo.
Really?
Yeah, before my parents chose a name.
Oh, why didn't they stick with Arlo? I was just gonna say
I know,
that's such a
right?
solid name. Don't get me wrong, John is great, but man, Arlo is sick. I never call things sick. That's how good of a name it is. Man.
But yeah, and so that's where my, and growing up in the Church of the Brethren, we, inevitably, you sing "This Land Is, Your Land," and
Yeah.
and other songs that are Woody Guthrie, just because it fits with kind of what the church is behind, and
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's definitely part of our upbringing, that song, and being a Church of the Brethren member.
so
Okay.
I'm curious, Dylan, if you could now answer the question of what got you interested in Woody recently.
Well, are we
Not
there
yet.
yet? We do
Not
have more
yet.
questions.
Oh, do we?
Yeah. I
Oh.
just scrolled ahead.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go for the
It's-
big win.
it's
I'm
10
glad I
altogether.
did, but we have five.
Oh,
Yeah, there's 10 altogether. and
I didn't know that. I thought we were just doing 5.
I know. This
Oh.
is, we just took a turn. So we're
Okay, so we didn't end the quiz tied. Okay.
yeah. So we got 5 more questions to settle this out.
Yeah, well, let's just go for it then. Number
Okay.
6. Right or wrong? Woody Guthrie's most well-known song, "This Land Is Your Land," as we've been talking about, was written in critical response to immigration policy.
Boy, that sure seems like it would be true, doesn't it, John? To me, it does.
I think it's wrong though.
It might be. Well, here I'd love to hear why you think that. Just because it's I think with go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think it's more with environmental policy and the usage of land.
Interesting, John. Which yeah.
Because with Woody Guthrie growing up in Oklahoma, major farming and ranch and everything, so he has an understanding of land in that aspect. And then with the communism aspect of things, where it's all everything is the people's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the U.S. did not do a great job with land use at the time. So
Yeah, there
wasn't any.
no national parks or protected areas yet, or they
No,
was just
those would have just been starting with national parks.
which might make
so.
and maybe his song had something to do with it, or it further encouraged it. I don't know. That's you. Gosh, yeah. I don't know. I was thinking this could be true just because it's weird. You hear that song and you really think of it as almost a patriotic song, but
Oh yeah.
I don't think people think of Woody Guthrie as patriotic necessarily, but I guess it just depends on what your definition of being a patriot is, really.
I see him as a patriot.
Yeah. I mean it's so weird, especially nowadays. It feels like that term is so at least anti the left very much sees the word as a patriot as kind of the anti of what they are. Like, okay, you're too America loving, but you can love America by writing songs like this, quote unquote, fighting for what you believe is right. I don't know, John. You convinced me that it might be about the environment, so I'm going to choose wrong based on your logic. Are you choosing wrong also?
Yep. Still going with
Okay,
wrong.
both going with wrong.
It is wrong, but for the wrong reasons.
Oh, hey, at least all we care about is the answer. Let's move on. We don't need to hear more about that. No, just joking. So what are the
They're
right
actually
reasons?
In critical response to the song "God Bless It," he was hearing that song so much, and he didn't. Originally, the song was a parody titled "God Bless America for Me," and later he switched those words with "This land was made." But the song sounds and is used for like patriotic purposes. Something that we kids, but that are often omitted and that weren't on like the original recording, because he was doing it to make some money. So yeah, I'd like to read those verses if I could.
Please. Yeah.
They come at the end of the song. The first is, there's a big high wall. Property. Backside, it didn't say nothing. That side. And then the last one, in the squares, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me?
Wow. Oh, that's good. And it's crazy because that's I mean, especially in the world we live in, that sounds like a tweet, right? It's like that's not a controversial take by any means now, but then to question like, what do you no, this is not the greatest place to live. Look at this inequality that exists. Look at these hungry people everywhere.
That's still controversial.
What,
I
to
guarantee
have
you,
that take?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess what I mean by that is, and it's because of the internet. Everybody can post it. If you're on that side of it, anybody can say that. It's not like a big risk to say something like that. But yeah, controversial. You're right.
Well, depending on where you live.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, I'm definitely coming from a left coast bubble for sure.
I mean, I'm guessing if Dylan put a big sign that had that, the first verse or even the second verse in his yard, it would probably get, defaced or something like that pretty quick.
Yeah.
Same with me.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's a humbling thing to hear because you're right. Sometimes I forget how much of a bubble I'm in here and
yeah, it really changed the whole meaning of the song to end in that question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first verse with imagery of people and buildings, church and state. And it points out that inequality. The song as a whole, and certainly often how it is used, erases the fact that this land has been colonized by genocide, and to any this land should be returned to the care of the tribes that have been in relationship thousands of years.
Wow. Yeah, and again, I as not a historian or someone with a very much knowledge on that definitely felt like at that time probably not a popular thing that a lot of people were saying. I'm sure it was on people's mind in the subconscious, but I'm grateful that today there's much more awareness around that, or at least it's I don't know if awareness is the right term or just less sort of ignorance, less sort of turning a blind eye to it. But it felt like in those times, it felt like there was all you did is turn a blind eye to it. So for him to bring that to the forefront at that time, just incredible.
Well, I'm saying
Yeah.
the song as it is, kind of lacks that aspect.
Oh,
I think this is
gotcha.
something that
If he had lived,
longer, or and I think he was someone who in the house that he was raised in, grew up with a lot of racist,
mhm.
but because of generous people around him and his trap
LA to New York.
and
Mhm.
Washington and Florida, that he was being exposed to a lot of people who were willing to. It's not okay to say certain things. Why? But at the time he was writing this song and recording it, making some compromises in those verses, the ones that he wrote, because he was trying to pay the bills too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so as we know, he at least had a daughter, and we know of a son named Arlo. But
And another one.
do we know about another one for sure? Oh
Yeah,
yeah, because you
Joe.
mentioned them. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, what a dilemma that really has existed as long as there's been a capitalist society of like,
Mhm.
what can I compromise, because it turns out I need this green stuff we call money to live and to take care of the people I love and care for. So I'm sure that wasn't an easy choice, but wow, oh, so fascinating. What a great question, Dylan. So much good information there.
Yeah, and thanks for engaging it. All right, we'll go on
Yeah.
to number 7. Yes or
All right.
no? Woody served.
Short and sweet. Did he serve in the Navy? Yes or no? I mean, it would kind of surprise me to hear that he did, which makes me want to actually choose yes that he did, because it doesn't seem like he would have. Do you think you know this, John?
I'm
Looks like you're thinking. You're basically pounding your head against the microphone, like I know this. I know this.
yeah. I
Going into the
I don't
Mayan
remember
palace.
what it was, right? But I watched something not too long ago with Arlo.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like he was talking about his dad a little bit.
Ooh,
I'm
and maybe
trying to
mention the
remember.
Navy.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that.
Gosh, I'm definitely now having second thoughts, because I'm like, maybe he served in the Army, not the Navy. True or false? Dylan is playing mind games with Kevin. That's
We're
a true.
still tied, right?
We. I don't know. Yeah, because we both chose the same answer on 6, so
Yeah.
we both still have 2 answers correct, I believe. Yeah. I'm gonna stick with yes, since I said it so quickly. Just to kind of choose
I'm,
it.
I'm sticking with yes too.
Okay, we're both saying that Woody did serve in the
Yep.
Navy.
No, he did not. Initially, painter.
But his offer was declined.
Uncle Sam said no, thank you. He
Oh,
served in a
wow.
few tours. Marines, which is military adjacent,
Uh-huh.
close to the Navy. Formally working in the kitchen and singing informally. So in doing that, he watched the draft a little bit longer. But Uncle Sam sought Woody out to test.
So
Woody
he-
was drafted in the Army, Kev. But the same day that he surrendered to, while he was
Wow.
in the Army, he was commissioned to write songs about the dangers of venereal disease.
Really? Oh my gosh. Were these songs basically intended for the troops, like who are going abroad, and like, hey, be careful about who you're sleeping with, essentially?
I assume so, but I didn't think songs. Would that be?
Oh, I'm gonna find all of them.
Venereal disease and you.
I would. I mean, I'm probably. I would love to find at least one of them. I'd be so curious, and maybe they don't exist. Maybe they were just saying in. But I like
I'm
that
sure
he-
there's an archive deep in the Pentagon that has them.
I like that. I like that he was denied to be a performer, but still got the opportunity to use his musical gifts to help. Right? I guess to spread awareness. Spread awareness instead of venereal diseases is what he did. I assume.
He knew
Wow.
the healthcare system in the U.S. really sucked. So
Yeah. Wow. Super fascinating. Oh my
after all
gosh.
those fire incidences in his family.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. All right. We both missed that. Do you have more on that?
Yeah.
Nothing more.
Making sure I didn't cut you off.
No, yeah, I think we're ready to move on to question 8 then.
Okay. Yeah. We're both.
We're
We're
not.
still tied. Believe it or not. Oh. Okay.
Believe it or not, we review children's albums.
Wow. All right. So here's another potential connection to old Kevin here, which you had alluded to as a person who has written children's songs and working on launching a children's project. So I would guess for sure he has some children's songs in his repertoire. Whether it's two children's albums or not would be what I'm debating, because I just think from what I know of him, his songwriting, the folky songwriting style, very much fits the children kind of easily digestible songs, I guess is what I'm saying. And I don't say that as a bad thing. I love when songwriting can be written in a way that's just like, wow, yeah, that works, or something about that rhyme pattern. I'm just debating the two children's albums. I'm going to believe it. I'm believing it. Instead of not.
I mean,
you're
just think about how many children's albums have "This Land Is Your Land" on it.
I know. Well, that's the thing. We already referenced that growing up as kids. We heard "This Land Is Your Land," and I assume that might be on there. But yeah, so were we both believing it?
Well, are we correct in both believing it? I guess
That's the question. So we're both choosing believe it,
You're right.
and now we're gonna find out whether we're correct in our belief.
You are believers, and it paid off.
For once, it
All
paid off
right.
to be a believer.
Yeah. Not as fun as being a believer, but still pretty cool.
Yeah, the first album was called Nursery Days, and the second, Songs to Grow Old. And as far as
This land is your land.
the songs were a lot more, simple, and meant for like much, like a very repetitive, very silly.
Yeah. That's sort of it. That's how children's songs work, and it's just it's amazing. He's got I'm really starting to see why Dylan, as someone who knows me, could see why this quiz is exciting me, because he's got children's songs, he's got political songs, he's got venereal disease songs, and it's just like everything up my alley,
Next up from Ranger Gouda, for those in the high school age range, how to prevent venereal disease.
Yeah. that's how my career is going to progress. I'm going to stay with the same. I'm going to start with like toddlers, and I'm just going to keep my songs progressing with them until they reach high school, and then I'll start all over again. No, I'll go through to college and adulthood too. Teach them how to do their taxes and all that kind of stuff. Wow,
I'll
super
help you out on
fascinating.
that, Kevin. I love figuring out how.
You like figuring out how to do the what?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I
wow. Okay. So
I
you'll be
do
my.
my own taxes as well, but I just use TurboTax.
I was gonna say, yeah, I just plugged the numbers in. Well, Dylan, you might now be my new tax person and my song co-writer. By the way, I haven't even mentioned how talented a drummer Dylan is. That's one of the first things I think I learned about you. In fact, I met you probably when you were 14 or something, and you were in a band called Duct Tape with Matt. Why am I blanking on his last name right now? Yeah, McIntosh. Matt and Molly McIntosh, and you I saw you play the. Yeah, you're a very talented musician yourself. By the way, we should give you all that credit.
Thank you. Yeah, I forgot about that. At a district conference, and
Yeah.
and it was played
Played through
like the PA
PAs.
system for the vocals.
For the guitars
So it was like pretty awful
sounding.
It probably sounded terrible,
Good, it
but
was good times.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what. But for me, as someone who hadn't been to a ton of concerts and seeing people that I knew and loved on stage, I remember we were all so into it, and we were all. I remember all like weekend or all whatever it was, we were all like, "Oh, we're gonna see Duct Tape tonight. We're all gonna see Duct Tape tonight." We were all so excited. You guys knocked it out. Duct Tape reunion. You heard it here first.
Is that gonna be happening in Beatrice, Nebraska?
For sure. Reunion show in Beatrice, Nebraska for Duct Tape. I'll be there.
Oh wait, no, I said that wrong. Beatrice, Nebraska.
Yeah, so people know you're not from around there. All right, Dylan. What are we ready for number 9? With each of us having 3 correct answers.
Yeah, we're to close 2 more.
All right.
Uh,
Okay.
Or baloney. The CIA
Nice.
visited Woody while he was in psychiatric hospitals.
Accurate or baloney? Well done on the. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what number 10 is. Not even.
I'm guessing it's a true or false question.
Yeah, but not even so much for the question itself. I'm like, or maybe he reverted back to true or false. I almost want to predict what another one could be. Believe it or not was good. I never would have come up with that one. All right. The CIA visited Woody while he was in psychiatric hospitals.
True.
You're going to say accurate.
Yep.
It very much seems like a very difficult fact to make up. But again, Dylan's intelligence is a strong suit of his, and his wit and creativity. I'm going to choose baloney just to make this thing interesting and choose something different than you, and because it's fun to say baloney as many times as possible. So John's choosing accurate. I'm choosing baloney. What do we got?
It's baloney. It was the FBI.
It's baloney
Ah.
for Kevin. Oh, I took the lead.
No,
So
it
what
was the-
is it
it was
entirely
the
false, or is there FBI?
The FBI.
FBI. They kept tabs
Wow.
on him from at least 1941, the end of his life, 1967. When they learned that he was succumbing to
They lowered.
his status from threat. Woody
Wow.
spent the last
What
13
potential.
years of his life in psychiatry to have degenerative as having display of a combination of ALS and Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Marjorie,
Wow.
his wives, took up the mantle of caring for his health needs during the last phase of his life. And she went to the Disease Society of America. It's like the largest
Wow.
HD
Organization.
organization. And because it's hereditary, it can be traced, you could use family. His mom
She was put in an asylum
after the whole kerosene lamp incident. She
Oh
died
my gosh.
due to complications of the disease. He died when he was 55 from HD, and 2 of
Wow.
Woody's daughters died of it when they were both each 41 years old.
Wow. Very hereditary then. Oh my goodness. So then was Woody's gasoline fire incident connected to that then?
I assume it was some aggression. The disease, Huntington's chorea, chorea as in like choreography,
Mm.
like Parkinson, like any move. and so he might not have to
Yeah, well, when you mention similarities, or was it you mentioned ALS, you mentioned Alzheimer's, you mentioned Parkinson's. Those are each one of those on their own are devastating diseases, and so there was some kind of. Did you say it's kind of like having all those, or he had symptoms of all of those?
yeah,
It's described as
like being a combination of,
like
having, the like the
motor parts,
the memory issues, and
Yeah, that affects some pretty major functions in one's life. Wow. And so, and maybe you don't know the answer to this, but the fire incident literally for him, which one, right? But the gasoline, where he threw the gasoline on and rendered himself unable to play guitar. Do you know how old he was when this happened? Was he already not playing guitar at that time? Do you have any more information on that? I'm just so curious.
I think some, but between his symptoms starting to, and he he wasn't as
Yeah.
of functioning on a day-to-day basis, but it was shortly after that
Yeah.
he checked himself in he went to the first 3 psychiatric hospitals.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of why I asked, or what I wondered, if his physical and or mental health was already declining, and then this just kind of was the nail in the coffin. But yeah, wow, what a tragic sort of story. I mean, all the fires and the psychiatric issues. But I really do appreciate you also sharing that his second wife, started this foundation. I had never even heard of HD Huntington's disease. Is this still something that's common as far as you know?
No, it's not too common, but I think because of the way the hereditary nature of it works,
a lot more people at risk.
of it,
If it's
Just-
already in your family.
and it tends
Yeah.
to kind of be progressively earlier, as you see it like in his family
Me too.
too, where so it kind of sneaks up on you. But this is
Wow.
part of the reason I became interested in, and I can say more
There it is.
about it at the HD is something that impact
My grandma just
died of complications due to
HD.
Wow.
in December
Wow.
anyway.
Well, well, condolences, Dylan. I did not know that news, but that's very fascinating. And so now, not to be too personal, but is this something that when you go to the doctor now, can you do tests now to see, like, is this something that I'm gonna, have to worry about?
Yeah, it was after Marjorie died that they discovered there was a gene, and I think it wasn't until the 90s then, like about a decade,
They
became capable of like locating and testing for that.
Wow. Wow, Dylan.
Kind of
Yeah, go
question
ahead.
For folks who I want to know if
Mm-hmm.
it's located
Mm-hmm.
series episode, but
Yeah.
you can
Well, despite it maybe not being a insanely common disease, you just created awareness for at least the two of us sitting here, and I would guess to many people listening right now. So if nothing else, that's already been accomplished, aside from probably creating people who are now new fans of Woody Guthrie, including myself. And the quiz isn't even done. It's not like I'm wrapping up. We still have one more question to go, but you've been doing a great job of raising awareness and educating. And I almost don't want this quiz to end, but we do have one more question to get to, don't we?
Yeah, and I wanted to end a happier note, so here it is. The final question: factual or fallacy?
Wait.
Bob Dylan wrote
Oh,
a song for Woody called "A Song for Woody."
I just want to get this out of the way. Hopefully. Oh gosh. Of course. Wait. Maybe I have it here. Nope. Well, maybe I'll put in post clapping sound effects since our soundboard isn't working. I'm trying to clap for you before we even finish the quiz because your question asking has been fantastic. I never would have seen factual or fallacy coming. So well done. Your namesake, Bob Dylan, wrote a song for Woody titled "A Song for Woody." Where are your thoughts right now, John?
I feel like that's factual.
It does feel factual, doesn't it? Again, it could be any number of things that wouldn't be factual. It is Bob Dylan really Dylan's namesake? That could not be true. I don't know. And could the title of the song be something other than A Song for Woody? You're going to choose factual? I mean, I guess I could choose factual to basically guarantee my win. Which I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to take that route. I'm going to say that this is factual because I want it to be true and because I want to win. So we're both choosing factual.
Well, I brought the how's the word go?
Semantics?
Oh, pendactiveness.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know if I said it right. You brought it into the question?
Yes, because it was a song to Woody.
Oh, so we both. That's sweet. So I like that. It was a song to Woody. Oh,
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And it's on Bob Dylan's very album. Two original songs. He used a melody from one of Woody's songs, the 1913 Massacre, which borrowed that melody from like an old English folk tune.
Wow.
And then like a parenthetical note, the other original song on that first album of Bob Dylan's was in the style of he picked up also. So when Bob Dylan was age 19, at college in Minnesota where he grew up and made his way to New York to start playing in some of the places that Woody played and also to visit Woody
Wow.
in one of the psychiatric hospitals. And
Wow.
yeah, he played the song for Woody.
Well, and this lineage, as I'm going to refer to it, may even have more ties than this. But I love to hear that, Woody Guthrie inspires Bob Dylan, and then, well, I guess I was going to bring up Tom Morello. That there's this branch of musicians and artists that carry on through various generations, and what a cool thing to learn. And to learn that your namesake is Bob Dylan. I did not know that. I thought your name was Dylan the whole time, and I'm Bob. It's just so good to have you. No, I did not know that. That's very cool.
And that's often how I introduce myself to my clients or to people to help them remember is Dylan, like Bob Dylan. And
Yeah.
if folks my middle name is like James Dean.
Oh, is James Dean your namesake for your middle name?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Which-
right. So it's
So Dylan, I don't know if you know this, where I live is about 10 minutes from where James Dean was born.
wow.
Yeah, I remember. I
And they've
think it
got a
was,
big James Dean festival every year. And
Yeah, while I was at
He's a
seminary,
he's a
I
local
remember some
hero.
folks going to that
Oh.
festival.
That's right. Is it not far from Bethany? Is it not far from that seminary?
Be about an hour and a half drive.
What is the town?
Fairmount.
Fairmount,
Marion.
Indiana. Yeah,
Oh,
you're in
Marion
Marion.
and Fairmount. Yeah. Technically, the birthplace is in Marion, but he lived in Fairmount.
So it's been a long time since I've referenced this, but Dylan, you probably know this, that I'm going to go to John's. I'm going to go out to, we've already been to Chicago, but I'm going to go to John's and we're going to go to the Troll Hole in Canton, Ohio, and we're going to play D&D, or we're going to go to the D&D convention. We're going to play hide and seek. And now, Dylan, you're going to have to join us because we're going to have to visit your middle namesake, James Dean's birthplace of Marion / Fairfield, was it? No, I'm way off on that.
Fairmount.
Fairmount. All right. There we go. We got it added onto the list.
Right, I'm in.
I can't wait to have you there. That's going to be so much fun. Well, Dylan, as in Bob Dylan, man, you knocked it out of the park. This was an extraordinarily informative, clever, and fascinating quiz, and I'm so grateful to have learned not just about Woody Guthrie, but to have learned from you, because I really cherished your friendship and value you as a human being, and this is such a treat to have you on. So thank you is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got just one more thing to say about how like I came into like stumbling upon Woody Guthrie is that
Please.
um,
It's your wife, for
I've been
listeners.
visiting. Yes, we visit her grandma every weekend, and I think it was like at the beginning of the pandemic or before I started learning how to play the ukulele, and so we would play, hymns or old folk. First, and now we do that in a room with masks on.
Wow.
But when you have a regular, weekly gig, you gotta kind of switch things up. So I was looking up, like I every disease has its famous person. Michael J. Fox for Parkinson's, Lou Gehrig, ALS. So Woody Guthrie is kind of like the patron saint of HD, and
Yeah.
I wonder what kind of songs from his discography, and I he was going to be just like your traditional standard country music, kind of like Hank Williams. But when one of the songs you
Deluded.
I thought
There's-
there's more to this guy than just some folk music. So it's been a rabbit hole
Wow.
since then.
Yep. Read that one title and it's okay. Wait, I better dig deeper. That is so fast. Yeah.
Have you dug into Arlo Guthrie at all?
Haven't
It's the next
I
rabbit
should.
hole.
Him a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one song normally gets played at our house about at least once a year, around Thanksgiving. And that song is "You Can Get Anything You Want at Alice's Restaurant."
Oh, that's right.
Or Alice's Restaurant Massacre is the actual title of the song.
Yes, you've mentioned
But,
this
yes.
in the past. Thanksgiving, right? This is like your favorite Thanksgiving song? Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's right. Arlo Guthrie.
yeah, I
There
mean,
it is.
it's like 10, 15 minutes long.
Yeah. I listened to the whole thing. It was fun.
Yeah, and there's a movie as well.
Same title?
Yeah, I think it's even got Arlo in it, playing
Cool.
the main character.
Well, yeah, Dylan, that'll have to be your next rabbit hole, Arlo Guthrie. But without getting too, I don't know what the right word is, without getting too deep or taking too far of a tangent away from my appreciation for this quiz. This podcast has been a great creative endeavor for John and I, and as all creative endeavors go, there are points where things are just rolling and it's all easy, and there are points where it's like, oh man, there's a lot of work and it's hard. The one thing that makes me continue to do this and excited to do this is episodes like this, the things that we get to learn. I'm getting some of my new favorite interests, musicians, hobbies. I'm sounding like I'm plugging my podcast. I guess I am, but I'm saying I'm going to keep doing this just because I love learning, and my hope is that people listening also love learning. And Dylan, you've done a great job of being teacher for the day, man. This has been yeah.
I was just gonna say, is it plugging when it's your own thing?
Yeah. I'm literally promoting my own podcast on my podcast. So it's I guess it doesn't really matter.
Hey, listen to our podcast while you
yeah,
listen to our podcast.
You should listen to our podcast sometime. But But Dylan, no, you're an example of what keeps the learning going. So this has been so cool, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
For sure.
Instead of
Thank
Pimp
you.
Your
Yeah,
Ride, it's Pimp Your Podcast.
Yeah.
No, it's been a joy putting the quiz together, and we're doing this that my face cheeks
Same.
hurt, so it's a
Mine too.
good time. Thank you.
Well, thanks for saying
Love to
that.
hear
Yeah, because I think that's a good sign of something's been good when your face is sore from the smiling. So, Dylan, man, we will be talking to you a whole lot, and because you're such a faithful listener, we appreciate that. But I'm so glad that we can on a personal level that you and I connected here face to face, and I think it would be nice to be a little more. I'm gonna try to be more deliberate about being your life, because you're a friend that I've missed dearly, and I can't wait to I'm so glad that this what am I trying to say, brought us together, but say that more better than I just did.
It's mutual.
Yeah, great. Okay, well,
It was nice meeting you, Dylan.
yeah, John, Dylan, nice to be on the mic with you guys, and we'll be back next week like we always do.
Yep.
All right, podcast is done. Started it. Okay, are you clicking it again, or am I?